So, hello everybody. It is Attorney Betin Gurkan. I'm together with the Attorney Matej Goyder today. How are you, Matej, today?
I'm fine. Hello. Thank you.
All good. It is a nice spring day. Behind of us is a Prague, and we are in the room of the Matej now. And today we will have a kind of short video. We are doing a lot. So we are getting question about that commercial disputes in Czech Republic. So technically, we get many clients, like a corporate clients, who have disputes either in Czech Republic or with Czech companies, or the opposite, of course, might be Czech company to the other foreign, which is not the topic of our today. But if there's any commercial dispute either between the Czech companies or between the foreign company and Czech company, Matej, could you summarize us that? Let's say that I'm the client, I have a, let's say, 100k euro receiving from the Czech company, and I say that, Mr. Matej, it is our contract or emails, and then what is the procedure you are advising them, how it goes?
Yeah, the general procedure is, of course, the first step is to send a warning letter. It's also the legal predisposition for starting an action, like in court proceedings. So if you want to claim your legal expenses in the court. So it's not like 100% necessary, but there's no reason not to do it. The reason why it is required is that to avoid court disputes if it's not necessary. Maybe sometimes it happens, that the debtor forgets to pay, or he thinks
he paid maybe, but he forgot.
or he's not he's not paying, but when he sees that there's a lawyer coming in on stage, then it makes him pay as well. So it can also solve a lot of cases before even going to court and spending much more money, higher expenses on the court proceedings. If it doesn't work, the warning letter, there is 7 days before you can start the court proceedings from the law perspective. This is like the statutory period to let the debtor, give him some minimum time to respond, to eventually pay. If he does not within these 7 days, we usually start the legal proceedings, because in practice, of course, the clients come to us already at the point when they cannot really agree with the debtor. There has usually been a lot of communication and a lot of things going on before that, so usually they know that he's not going to pay. So then we start the proceedings straight away. And the most widely used institute, like legal institute, in order to obtain money from your debtor to collect debt collection is the electronic payment order. Now, just lately, last year, there have been some improvements in this regard. So there is no limit on the amount on which you can sue the debtor using this electronic payment order. You can sue any amount, which is very beneficial. It can be 1,000 euro, it can be 100,000, it can be 1 million, whatever. Second thing, it's there is a lower court fee by 1%, only 4% from the sued amount, compared to like a classical court proceedings. By a classical action, it's a cheaper option. It's a faster option. Everything is electronic, let's say, simply said, which means that we send the action to the court electronically via a data box, which is like an official communication channel between courts, attorneys, people, and government. So it's secure. The client doesn't have to be present physically anywhere.
Through the power of attorney, we can.
Of course, even later, if there is the need, we do it through the power of attorney. And the court, even though it's depending on the individual court, but on average, because we have already issued hundreds of these payment orders, so we have quite some experience from practice. The average time of issuing it from the point of filing the action is 1 month. Sometimes it takes 1 week, sometimes it takes 2 months. It depends on the period, on how the court is, being how much work it has, how much it is full of actions, or full of work. But it's quite quick, and then the debtor has 15 days to object. after it receives the
Mhm.
payment order. The payment order is, from our experience, is being issued almost every time, which is another benefit, that the courts are not so strict about it, about the proofs underlying the
Mhm.
action. It
Mhm.
almost issues it almost every time. Another benefit is that these days every entrepreneur in the Czech Republic, which is, we only sue companies which are in the Czech Republic because we have license only here in this country. They by the law, all of them have these data boxes, which are, let's say, electronic post boxes.
Mhm. Mhm.
And all the government authorities, including courts,
Mhm.
they deliver through these electronic means.
No any physical post or something
No
is
physical
necessary
post, so
anymore.
it's much faster. And one of the biggest benefit is that there is a fiction of delivery, which means that the court just sends it, the electronic payment order. So he issues it after 1 month of filing the action, for example. He immediately sends it to the data boxes of the entrepreneur, because most of the cases, of course, are entrepreneurial cases.
Mhm.
And if the entrepreneur doesn't pick up the data box after 10 days, there is a fiction of delivery, and then there is another 15-day period for filing objections. So if the debtor doesn't file it, the electronic payment order, which is the court decision, basically, it becomes
Enforceable.
enforceable,
Mhm.
and you can directly execute it for an
Yeah, to the
execution.
bank freezing account freezing
Exactly,
and so on.
freeze all the assets, which is another 2 weeks in average after filing the executionary proceeding.
If there's objection, the court procedure, how long it takes? It's a good question, though. It depends on the case.
Mhm.
But what is the minimum time? And then, of course, longest time might be under question.
Yeah,
Even
of
2 to
course.
5 years it may take.
Understand.
But what is the average, with your experience, it takes?
Of course, if the objections are filed, and of course the benefit for the debtor, on the other hand, is that he can file objections without any justification. He can just very simply file it, which is, on the other hand, the fact that the payment order, the electronic one, is being issued so easily. Of course, on the other hand, the debtor has a very easy way of kind of canceling it. So if he files objection, the electronic payment order is being automatically cancelled, and the proceedings are being transferred automatically to the regular civil proceeding, which means that there will, in most of the cases, not always, but it's quite frequent, then there will be a personal hearing, which we, of course, do on the basis of a power of attorney. And then it's, this regular court case where, the debtor and the creditor meet at the court, and they file their proofs, and
something.
exactly, and there can be some some hearings of
In
the
average 1-2
witnesses.
years, I will say.
Exactly. And then it can get longer.
Yeah. It is important that it is a reason, before that, of course, to take attention of the contracts or the parties. But if it happens, then as the Matej mentioned, either warning letter way or the electronic way, enforcement order, payment order will be recommended. When we are closing the video, last add with that, when they are doing the contracts, like between the companies, what do you recommend in very shortly? That, of course, is a big topic, but what do you recommend, like what they need to be careful? Maybe check the companies or
of course, check the company. This is definitely one of the main things which can help you avoid going to the court. Check it for example, at the public register of insolvencies, if the company is not insolvent or bankrupt. In other words, check. It's also possible to check it. You can do it through a lawyer, because to foreign clients it can be more complicated or not so easy. But it's very simple. It's a very simple step to check the registry of execution, payment or execution order. If the company is not already, has frozen assets already, you can check that if it has an executionary order from some other creditor, for example. You can also check some other details. There are, even private companies provide these credit checks, which make you the check very simply through a few clicks. And then they check all the registers, including the bank registers as well. I would definitely recommend that. and of course then having a good, at least a reasonably good contract, which is ideally signed, let's say, electronically or with
executives of the companies.
Yeah, exactly. Because many companies they don't even have a contract; they just have an invoice.
Many of them, I will say,
which is more, of course, makes it a little bit more complicated. Not impossible. It's still relatively easy. Doesn't prevent the electronic payment order. The courts they very often is a very general practice that the companies just don't have like a written contract for, let's say, the delivery of goods or services. But if you have it, it's nice. It's very nice.
Kind of good proof, especially if it's a detailed products or something. The quality of the products or something is under question. Matej, this is a very great summary. Thanks so much for your help. Very much as well. And then in case of any legal dispute, I hope, guys, you won't have it. But in case you have it, of course, it is important to solve it. Of course, going to court directly is also option, but we don't recommend so much because it costs you a lot. As Matej recommend, is a big difference between 1% to 4% official fees. Maybe without even the official cost, maybe with warning letter, we can show it as a lawyer. But it is important to understand the cultures, understand the people and the companies. Also, before do any business with any Czech company, between the Czech companies even, we recommend to, of course, either you check it. If you cannot, feel free to ask help from us. Then we can check the company and also the situation, because if the company doesn't pay the tax here, they're not gonna pay your payment either, right? I mean, I will say that it is a very important thing for me. If they don't pay the tax, they're not gonna pay your fee for sure. It is
that's very possible.
Very possible, right? I will say, but yeah, I mean, I hope that you're not gonna have any big problem. And then if you have it, please feel free to write us by email. You can call us, but in general, for emails, we will back it within 1 business day. And then, feel free to contact us. And thanks so much. And thanks so much, Matej, to hosting us here.
Thank you very much.
And then, let's see. Have a great day.
Have a day.
Thank you.
Have a nice day.
Bye-bye.